What's going on, everybody? Matic here. In this week's video, we're going to go over on how to do a basic push-up, certain variations, and simple progressions on how to do it. So a push-up, what is it and why would we do it? A push-up or press-up, depending on the country you're from, in the simplest terms is you're laying flat on the floor and you're pushing or pressing yourself off of it. It's relatively simple and you can do it just about anywhere. All that you really need in order to do a push-up is your body. So the reason we would do a push-up is when you do it properly on both hands and on both feet with a straight body, you're lifting roughly about 70% of your body weight, taking into account body types, where your waist is distributed, and all that mess. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go over different hand placements, which puts emphasis on different muscles in your body, mainly your upper torso, and simple progressions. The progressions are for people who are just starting to work out. You might be physically weaker if you're a smaller type person, or you might weigh more than you potentially should, and you're not able to lift a full 70% of what your body weight is currently. So as part of the variations of push-ups we're going to do is going to be different hand placements for the push-up. Different hand placement puts more emphasis on different parts of your body. Certain muscles, maybe more pec, maybe more tricep, or more lat, or a little bit in the middle of all three, which are the main muscles that you're using. Your pectorals, a little bit of your front delt, depending on the variation you're doing. Your triceps, which is the back part of your arm, and if done properly, your back. So the three hand positions that we're going to use is we're going to use a elbows in, basically your hands right beside your body, arms slightly out, so your arms almost go out in about 45 degrees. This is a standard push-up position. And then we're going to have wide, where our arms are almost completely perpendicular with our body or completely sideways. You can bring them down a little bit here, that's fine. So before we start doing push-ups, what we're gonna go over is which way should I turn my hands? And depending on how far you go out might dictate on where your fingers or your hands are pointed. Also, wrist and shoulder, elbow flexibility, all that stuff goes into account as well. Okay. So for being close in, you could have your arms or your fingers going straight. If we're going with my middle finger, they could be going straight. Coming out here, about standard push-up, you can still have them straight when you go outside. You can have them out straight, but it kind of puts a lot of stress on your wrist when you extend your body. So what I generally like to do for any type of push-up I'm going to do that's flat-handed is I will make L's with my first two digits, and then from there, so my hands kind of point out at a 45-degree angle. What this allows me to do is when I do my push-up, I'm a big fan of upper arm rotation. What this helps me do is engage my rotator cuff a little bit more, and it gives me a nice squeeze in my lat or my back when I'm at the top position. So I will point my hands at 45, and then whichever version or progression of push-up I do, my elbows will be pointed straight. I'm in full extension. My shoulder blades are pushing out through my arms. Elbows are straight. I will go down, nice tight straight body. It's fine if you touch the floor. And then I will finish with an extension here with my elbows. Okay, so that upper arm rotation is something that I try to go for with all the push-ups I do. Whether I'm in close, I try to rotate my upper arms. Whether I'm out far, I try to rotate my upper arms. For hand placement, you roughly want your hands to kind of always be about where the bottom of your sternum, where your solar plexus is. is that allows you to get really good extension and a good push on your triceps. Once you start getting a little bit higher up here, you're using a whole lot of shoulder, and it can be bad. It can be bad for putting too much stress on your shoulder. And you generally don't want to try to do too much rotation up here, especially if you're doing high rep push-ups or heavy push-ups. So you usually want your hands to be roughly where the bottom of your sternum is. Okay, so that's on how we want our hands placed, where we kind of want them around this plane. But why would we want to go out or in? Like I said earlier, it's because you might want to work on different or specific muscles. So mostly the closer that you come in, either here or you can come in real close and wind up doing diamond push-ups. But usually the closer that you come in, the more you start working the back of your triceps, or your triceps, the entire back part of your arm, where you start working more triceps and more front deltoid, your front shoulder. And you can get a squeeze in your chest at the top and a little bit of a squeeze in your lat or your back, but it's generally harder when your hands get closer in. You wind up doing more with your tricep and your shoulder. With the middle version, or your arms just slightly flared out, you kind of hit your pec, a little bit of your shoulder, your tricep, and your back, roughly about the same amount, roughly, depending on how you're doing it. And then from going out or wide, basically to me wide is if your arm is at a right angle, or ends at a right angle when you're all the way down, and pushing, I'm getting more emphasis on my chest. Again, I'm doing an upper arm rotation. I get more emphasis on my chest, and I get more emphasis on my back here. Boom. So those are the muscles you're working with each hand placement variation. Okay, so now we're going to talk about progression on how to do a push-up, or for any exercise. Progression usually means going from easiest to hardest, or from weak to strong. And so when it comes to exercising or working out or anything like that, there's two different phases or parts of an exercise you want to concentrate on. One is called an eccentric contraction and one is a concentric contraction. Eccentric is basically the lowering or the loading phase of an exercise. So we're taking a push-up, that's when you go down. That's the eccentric phase or contraction. The concentric is when you are lifting the weight or making the weight move through space, when you're exerting effort. When you're first working out and you might not be strong enough to do a particular exercise, it is a good thing to work on the eccentric contraction or the lowering phase first and primarily. There's multiple studies that have shown that this is one of the safest, easiest, and almost fastest way to build up strength to being able to do a full movement. The reason is if you get stuck or decide to give up in the middle of the exercise, you're not going to hurt yourself. You're not up in the air, the weight's not up in the air, it's not going to fall. It's already at the very bottom of the movement, and you usually just stop. So it's very safe more to work on. So starting with the eccentric contraction for all of our push-ups, the easiest version we're going to do is where you do push-ups on your knees. That's essentially all it is. For all push-up variations, unless it calls for it, you're going to want to maintain as straight of a line as possible within your body. That means essentially all the way from your head, all the way down to your feet, or if we're doing our knees, so all the way from our head down to our knees. So I'm going to do a standard hand placement and arm placement push-up. So I have to make sure, I have to find and know where a straight line from my head all the way down to my knees is. I have to find that. That takes trial and error. Once I have that, and I'm just starting out doing push-ups, all I have to do is with control, usually about a 2-second count, so 1001, 1002, and I can go all the way down to the floor. There's now no pressure. If I've been doing a lot of these, I can just stop. And then if all I'm doing is the lowering phase, I can do whatever method I need, come up, and then 1001, 1002, and then the load is off. Once I get past that, and again, staying with a standard 1001, 1002, I go all the way down. I still feel a little tension, and then come up either 1001, 1002. Some people have different timings. Anything's really fine as long as it's in control. You don't want to be out of control doing exercises. So on knees, my knees are together for me. Nice straight line. And 1001, 1002. Pause. 1001, 1002. That's on your knees. You can either wind up going slower to build up more strength, or you can go faster to work on like power. Limited power, but still power. Then from there, you wind up coming up on your feet. And then same thing from here. Still have a 1001, 1002. I can just work this. And then get up however I need to. 1001, 1002. You really want to make sure that your shoulders don't come up into your ears. You want to keep your shoulders pulled down. This keeps your scapula, or your shoulder blade, and your shoulder in a safe position. Keeps a lot of stress off of it. And it also helps you engage your lat. All right, so let's say you're past just doing the lowering phase on your hands and feet. So from there, again, nice straight line, pushing out, shoulders down, go 1001, 1002, pause, 1001, 1002. And make sure at the very top you squeeze everything, I'm rotating my upper arms, and I'm pushing my shoulder blades out. Boom. And just rinse and repeat. So my personal recommendation when it comes to doing exercises, specifically bodyweight exercises, is aim for a number roughly about 20 to 25 repetitions. You can break them up in whatever way you need to, and how many sets doesn't really much matter. But once you can do 20 to 25 reps all at once, then it's time to move on to a harder version. Also take into account of what that harder version is specifically working on. But if you do it that way, then your strength will improve, your body control will improve, and you'll get significantly stronger. Is there a benefit to being able to do, 100 push-ups at a time? If you're working muscular endurance primarily or only, go for it. You have to be unbelievably strong in order to do that many, but by that point, you're just working muscular endurance and not as much muscular strength. This is Matic, guys, and I will see y'all next time. Ooh. Oh, monkey. Damn, it hurts. Got big old boulder shoulders and stuff. And I will see you guys next time.